Hello everyone, good morning, and welcome to today's important forum on business investments in sustainability, corporate social responsibility, and inclusive growth. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, AmCham Indonesia, and the Indonesian Embassy in Washington, D.C. have come together to create today's program. This opportunity to engage with representatives of leading American and Indonesian businesses and government officials will explore the important role of corporate investment in fostering sustainable and inclusive growth in Indonesia and other APEC economies. Before we start with today's session, a few housekeeping points. Please turn off your headphones or turn them to vibrate, and the restrooms are right outside of this door to your right-hand side. To start today's forum, I am pleased to introduce the keynote speakers. This group of distinguished public and private sector leaders will share their perspectives on advancing inclusive and sustainable growth in Indonesia. And first, we will hear from Tamy Overby, Vice President of Asia for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you very much for coming today. As you said, my name is Tamy Overby, and I'm from Washington, D.C. I work for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Our building is right across the street from the White House, and we are the largest business federation in the world. We represent the interests of more than 3 million businesses of every size, sector, and region of the United States. And I'm so delighted to be back here in Jakarta. We want to thank all of you for sharing your very valuable time with us today for this very important topic. And we also want to say a special thank you to our corporate sponsors, without whom today's event would not be possible. I'd also like to thank our partner organizations, AmCham Indonesia, Kadin, Apindo, Modernizators, and UPH. We work closely with 116 American Chambers of Commerce in 102 countries around the world. And I hope you're familiar with the very good work that's being done here in Jakarta through AmCham Indonesia. The U.S. Chamber has a long history of supporting private enterprise and advocating for free and open markets and encouraging responsible regulation that provides the foundation for innovation, job creation, and economic growth, both in America and around the world. While American businesses have been operating in Indonesia for decades, we have followed their leadership in recent years by substantially increasing our cooperative efforts with partners, including AmCham Indonesia, to communicate the vital contributions our companies are making across this great country. The theme of today's discussion, strengthening Indonesia's competitiveness, business contributions to sustainability, corporate social responsibility, and inclusive growth, is highly relevant for all of us. What interests me is the part of the message that suggests that the private sector activity generates public good, public progress, far better than any other way of organizing economic activity. This is something that many of our business people know very well. Actively contributing to the neighborhoods where we live and work around the world is simply good business. The private sector works well because markets are nothing more than millions of people exercising their choice as to the goods and services they're going to use their hard-earned money to buy. And people, even in economic transactions, make value judgment. And I don't just mean in the sense of value for money, but also value in terms of how the businesses they decide to support treat their workers, how they treat the environment, and how they interact with the local communities. Again, CSR is good for business. As stakeholders in Indonesia's growth, our companies have an important opportunity to positively contribute to Indonesia's sustainable development, and we are, by transferring global experience and best practices to our Indonesian employees, by empowering women through health improvements, and by facilitating connectivity across Indonesia's thousands of islands. But this is not just a case where we're forced to choose between what's good for business and what's good for Indonesia's goals and aspirations. We are invested in Indonesia's growth, innovation, and prosperity because it's simply good business, and because it's good for Indonesia, a true win-win. Now, I don't have to tell the people in this room about the vibrancy and electricity in the air around Indonesia's business environment. This excitement is deepening the cultural, economic, and diplomatic impact that Indonesia is sharing around the world. As one example, Indonesia has the honor of hosting APEC this year, the largest gathering of heads of states and ministers in Asia. And that's especially fitting because Indonesia is uniquely positioned to understand Asia's economic resurgence, because Indonesia also sits at a critical juncture, confronted with both tremendous opportunities and challenges. Now, we have all seen the exciting economic data about Indonesia's economies, so I'm not going to repeat it. But what I do want to highlight is how companies, through their business operations, are helping Indonesia grow, and why improving the regulatory environment and strengthening partnerships can help improve Indonesia's competitiveness. As in the basic laws of economics, there's a simple division of labor. The private sector's role is to innovate, so we create and we expand wealth. The government's role is to create enabling environment for businesses to operate and for civil society to function. And a healthy balance exists in Indonesia, thanks to your vibrant economy, democratically elected officials, and efforts to attract investment. But I still think more can be done to spur growth and spark innovation. And by this, I mean growing our businesses here. Our companies become Indonesian stakeholders, actively contributing to growth, human capital development, R&D investments, and livelihood improvements, quality of life in all tangible ways that touches Indonesian families. Today, we can capture the vibrancy of Indonesia's transformation. We believe that the path forward to achieving truly inclusive development, where the benefits of economic growth are felt widely and deeply among all the islands of Indonesia, is through harnessing the power of partnerships and improving the local business environment. These innovations were created by companies to enhance people's lives, while the infrastructure was put into place with or by the government. And that's the point. These are the partnerships that highlight the inclusive growth that we strive for today. The examples are all around us. The work of Johnson & Johnson and GE in partnership with local governments to improve women's health care by making more diagnostic tools portable and accessible across Indonesia's thousands of islands. It also includes the work Sampurna and Chevron are doing to train the next generation of entrepreneurs in partnership with Indonesian ministries in an effort to build small and medium companies which will create new products and services for Indonesians. These innovative advances are assisted by the outstanding work done by Qualcomm and Grameen Asia Foundation, which together with local officials are helping to make more technology accessible and connect more citizens to enhance livelihood and productivity. We believe that the partnerships work best when the private sector is driving the innovations. Civil society organizations are implementing the coordinated support, and the government is ensuring business-friendly environment, which will allow benefits to flow across the society. We would like to see expanded partnerships because they work by sharing global best practices in business operations, expanding access to global capital, and helping Indonesia move up the value chain of innovation. But in order to fully capture the benefits that companies have to offer, more needs to be done to improve the business environment. For example, deepening the appreciation of rule of law, non-discriminatory treatment of companies, protecting intellectual property rights, and reducing corruption. These acts will benefit us all. We believe that this will have a powerful multiplier effect, which can enable thousands of Indonesians to capture the energy of their country's development. Now, through your own domestic success and leadership position within Asia, Indonesia is uniquely positioned to contribute to regional dialogues on sustainability, corporate social responsibility, and inclusive growth. The U.S. Chamber believes that the intersection of investment and corporate contributions to inclusive growth should be explored through the APEC platform. And as the role of companies in society is rapidly evolving, the time is now for investigating how the private sector, in partnership with civil society and governments, is contributing to the public good. Skilled workforces, cleaner environments, inclusive growth, an innovation ecosystem, and enhanced competitiveness. These have direct benefits for business, but each also benefits people and communities. Indonesia can demonstrate these shared benefits in ways that will resonate all across Asia and signal to companies around the world that Indonesia's market and Indonesia's workforce should be a critical part of their growth plans. The U.S. Chamber and AmCham Indonesia can serve as a bridge to connect companies, leaders, and new ideas that create these new pathways for partnership, with a priority on improving the ease of doing business across Asia. For the next several decades, the future of global growth lies here in Asia, and Indonesia, as one of Asia's main engines for growth, with a vibrant private sector that is actively innovating and introducing new products and services, will be a critical contributor to improved quality of life and social goods, while at the same time creating jobs and generating productivity gains. At the Chamber, the work we do is guided by one simple but powerful idea. We believe that innovation and entrepreneurship produces the most successful results. U.S. Chamber members are committed to Indonesia. We want to contribute more to Indonesia's success, and we look forward to strengthening our partnerships here and developing new relationships that will support Indonesia's vibrant and dynamic future. I look forward to today's discussion and working with our partners going forward to maximizing the impact businesses in Indonesia can have on continued growth and prosperity. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Tamy. And now I would like to invite Andrew White, the Managing Director of American Chamber of Commerce of Indonesia.
Good morning. Ambassador, ministers, officials, and friends, thank you for coming to the conference today. The conference theme for today is Strengthening Indonesia's Competitiveness, Business Investments in Sustainability, CSR, and Inclusive Growth. We have brought together for today's session leading experts not only here in Indonesia but around the world, and some of the most innovative companies, senior executives, to talk about CSR. And we're looking at 5 companies that really, I think, hit some of the most critical areas for Indonesia in the area of investment and real catalyzers for the economy. Health, technology, energy, agriculture, consumer products. These are going to be the engines for Indonesia's growth as we go forward. We're not here today for presentations, but we're here for discussions. There'll be fast-paced discussions around some critical themes. Promoting responsible economic growth, what is that? How do you enable the environment for companies to be able to contribute, to be able to have sustainable growth, not only for their profitability, but to give back to the community? Dynamic partnerships in health and wellness, capturing the human spirit by empowering human capital. Labor is a critical key component to Indonesia's economy as we go forward with a large percentage today of labor in Indonesia being outside the formal economy, being outside the safety of net, not getting the kind of skills that they need going forward, and we're going to examine that and how some companies are working on that. How do we prioritize sustainability? If everything's important, nothing's important. And so the experts and the companies that come up here and talk about that will talk about how they, from a corporate perspective, how they determine what's important, how it's sustainable within their corporate model. A few thoughts here I have before I turn it over to my esteemed colleague, Minister, the Ambassador. One of APEC's themes is equitable growth. And that's another word or another phrase which I think captures what CSR is. The private sector is and will continue to be the engine for equitable growth. Governments do not make profits. They spend the profits made by individuals and companies. If there are no profits, there's no money for social programs, for infrastructure, for services. And CSR is not charity. Shareholders do not invest in charities or expect public companies to take their investments and donate them to charities. CSR can't be legislated, although regulations do play a role. And effective CSR is more than just following the law. It's about a company's enlightened self-interest. It's about doing the right thing because the alternative is less profitable and more painful. CSR must be grounded in a company's core operating principles if it's to be sustainable. As we all know, we just have to pick up today's paper to see that it can take decades for individuals and companies to build up a responsible reputation, and it can take an instant for that to be lost. And it's also ironic that many of the world's most dynamic, innovative, responsible individuals and companies were at one time held by the world to be among the most irresponsible. And these companies learned a painful lesson. They paid a terrific price, and they're now committed to being a responsible company. And it's that kind of a commitment which I believe is at the core of corporate social responsibility. Thank you. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Wahid.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to Jakarta, and especially for those who first time to visit Jakarta. I hope you enjoy the traffic. This is the way we come here in Jakarta, because if you stay in hotel, you won't see anything. But if you spend your time 1 to 2 hours, sometimes you have to, and then you will see what's happening in Jakarta. Please allow me to convey my sincere gratitude for the opportunity to speak before this timely conference on strengthening Indonesia's competitiveness, business investment in sustainability, corporate social responsibility, and inclusive growth. On behalf of Ambassador Yuri Tamy, APEC Indonesia's chair, allow me also to convey his sincere apology for not being able to attend us this morning. Despite this, Ambassador Yuri extends his sincere support to this discussion and wishes you a productive and fruitful deliberation. Actually, I just came back from Medan last night to attend the series of Senate official meetings. There are 68 meetings altogether for 2 weeks in Medan. I would like also to thank the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Washington, in particular my good friend Pak Dino, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and the AmCham Indonesia for organizing this very important conference. We have all been seeking workable options for public-private partnership in addressing the challenges of sustainable and inclusive growth. Thus, this conference has come at a timely manner. This conference brings together government and business sector to share views and create platforms for all stakeholders to interact, finding linkage between investment and corporate social responsibility programs. In this occasion, let me share you with the regional efforts through the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, in which Indonesia is hosting and chairing this 2013. Indonesia, through APEC 2013, has delivered the theme of Resilience Asia-Pacific Engine of Global Growth. The same reflects APEC's common determination to strengthen cooperation and enhance regional resilience to resist economic crisis or swiftly recover from the contagion effects. This theme also echoes our aspiration to continue our positive economic growth that would contribute as the locomotive on the global economic growth. Under this theme, APEC 2013 promotes three priorities, namely attaining the global goals, achieving sustainable growth with equity, and promoting connectivity. In line with the APEC 2013 second priority, achieving sustainable growth with equity, the Indonesian Investment Coordinating Board under the APEC Investment Expert Group held a public-private dialogue with the theme of investment and CSR for local community during the APEC first general official meeting here in Jakarta in January. Through this APEC public-private dialogue, we seek to ensure that all our citizens have the opportunity to participate in, contribute to, and benefit from the global economic growth. Business has the will, capacity, and commitment to contribute further in the inclusive and sustainable agenda, and APEC has always recognized the importance of business in taking part of addressing the regional challenges. One of it is through the Corporate Social Responsibility or CSR programs. CSR has long been a focus of discussion in APEC. In 2007, APEC has published a case study entitled Corporate Social Responsibility in the Global Supply Chain. The issue of CSR has also been addressed as one of the priorities under the theme Addressing the Social Dimension of Globalization during Peru's chairmanship of APEC 2008. I understand the aim of today's conference is to launch a private sector-led initiative to effectively communicate the role of companies in driving inclusive growth and sustainability through investment and CSR programs. Against that backdrop, allow me to share several conclusions from APEC Public-Private Dialogue on CSR that BKPM on the Indonesian Investment Coordinating Board held during the APEC Personal Official Meeting in Jakarta in January. The salient points from the dialogue could probably be useful in shaping our discussion today. Firstly, CSR is one of the many courses that business can take, over and above their legal obligation towards society and the environment. It is not panacea, but it builds alternative avenues for businesses to play a greater role in impacting the outcomes of the global growth agenda. Secondly, to promote greater role of CSR in the regional and global growth agenda, business and government need to create common platforms, such as in this conference, as a medium for sharing knowledge and expertise, as well as adjusting expectations among stakeholders. Thirdly, CSR could be enhanced through effective communication and improvement of business practices, respect of diversity, including developing international standards and practice. By ensuring a sound investment strategy that takes into account economic, social, and environmental objectives as translated, business will become partners of growth, not only for the people, communities, and regions, but also for the whole world in general. With that said, we sincerely hope that the outcomes of this conference will contribute as a recommendation for further work on inclusive and sustainable growth through investment and CR in our region. Finally, I wish you enjoy your time in Jakarta and good luck in the operation and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador. And next, I would like to introduce Mr. Gatot Suwondo, BNI Chairman and ABAC Indonesia Representative.
His Excellency, United States of America Ambassador to the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Scott Marshall, His Excellency Expert Staff to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on Economic, Social, and Cultural Affairs, Mr. Wahid Supriyadi, His Excellency Vice President Asia US Chambers of Commerce, Mr. Tamy, and Honorable Managing Director of AmCham Indonesia, Mr. Wahid. Honorable Speaker, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to welcome for those of you just either the first time or several times come to Indonesia. I would like to welcome you to a remarkable Indonesia, a place for investment and tourism. On behalf of ABAC and BNI, let me express our gratitude and deep appreciation to the event organizer for having invited us to participate and address to you on the topic of the critical role of corporate investment to advance inclusive growth and sustainability across Indonesia. I hope that what I'm about to share with you can be beneficial to all of us. Although global economic conditions continue to fluctuate, Indonesia's economy has precisely demonstrated progress in the last couple of years. It was characterized by a relatively high economic growth of 6%. Inflation was under control, the rupiah was relatively stable, and the benchmark on the BI interest rate was conducive to the business, thus resulting to the lowest interest rate in the history of the Indonesian economy. Indonesian economy performance is inseparable from the private sector contribution, especially businesses that play a major role in the national economy. The economic growth is closely linked to the concept of sustainable development that focuses on four main pillars of economic growth, namely pro-growth, pro-job, pro-poor, and pro-environment. As an agent of development, Indonesian banking also experienced a very and impressive performance in the last couple of years. It was characterized, among others, by growth in asset, profitability, and improvement in credit quality, exemplified by enhanced in financial ratios such as ROE, ROA, NIM, NPL, and others. Bank Negara Indonesia, as the first national bank which was actively promoting the concept of green banking in the past number of years, has seen quite a remarkable boost in the business performance. Such performance was partly due to the business-oriented strategy of sustainable growth and long-term quality. We view sustainability as a synthesis of banking practices with emphasis on the conservation of nature and community empowerment. This outlook is embodied in BNI's fourth mission of enhancing awareness and responsibilities towards the environment and the society. Therefore, as a business entity, BNI is actively participating in sustainable development, particularly in meeting the needs of the community through funding and financing various sectors using the 3Ps approach, which is profit, people, and planet, or recognized as the triple bottom line principle. As a result, we are taking every effort in improving sustainable performance through a business approach focused on two segments. Those are business banking and consumer and retail banking. In business banking, BNI is catalyst for the development of industry in the country, both in national as well as regional scopes, through 8 primary sectors associated with the government master plan for the acceleration of Indonesian development, economic development program, or known as NECEI. Meanwhile, in the consumer sector, which significantly contributes to the economic growth, BNI focuses on the segment of consumer and retail banking, where BNI wishes to be a lifetime banking partner for its consumers. By concentrating on the segment of business and consumer retail banking, BNI is beyond doubt ardent in making an actual contribution